Excuse me. I was trying to do that after before this. But anyway, so I was just sitting here like listening to All Eyes on Me, and like I was like practicing river dancing to, I say it funny, I was practicing river dancing to All Eyes on Me, and I was on beat, and I was doing double dutch, and then moving my legs quick, and my footwork, and my hip work. This is a Kundalini thing. This is how I teach Kundalini. Now, one of the things that I was also teaching as part of my shadow work series of Kundalini is taking this mudra. I don't even know what fucking mudra this specifically is, but I know we use it in quite a few kriyas. Like, and I know the difference between kriya and kriyas, you fucking nonce. I know what I'm talking about. So anyway, the idea is to take this hand one at a time, hold the other fingers here, spine straight, upright, bring that over, like boom. You're gonna lay it on your, like just under your jaw, right here, and just under your earlobe at that angle, and just start rubbing, like lightly rubbing as a way to relax your muscles and to, you know, give your spinal fluid up here and your lymph node and your nodes and all of that shit, get it moving. Because I've been pretty tight from here up to my crown, and it's been that way for a couple years. You know, like I have association with it being my chakras, you know, from my solar plexus all the way up to my saraswat. And anyway, but the point is to do that on each of these sides, and you're draining these nodes and stretching your muscles and getting them to move around. And it's sort of like a bit, you do it fairly sternly, but not like digging in there. You don't want to hurt yourself. Do you hear me? You don't want to hurt yourself, sweetie. I got to do that sometime. Well, I don't have to do it, but I like to. But the point is, you want to just rub it down in there. And then you can also bring it around your clavicles and bring it, you know, like start from your neck down to here. Now, what you're doing is you're draining your lymph nodes and stuff. You could do it on your face and on your hands and stuff too. But what we're doing is we're draining it to the tempo of a song we're listening to. That's why I brought up All Eyes on Me, and then the river dancing part came after I drained my lymph nodes a little bit. Yeah, so coming back to center a little bit, the reason I mention this is like shadow work is because this is my intention that I set for tonight. Sorry, I was finally relaxing my diaphragm. Like I said, I'm working out some, you know, stuff and freeing up some energy and space, and it does feel heavy and weird and makes me angry and riled up, but also it has this calming effect. So just so I can go through that, this is the 4-minute mark. This is perfect. This is showing that I've been, just as a side note, I have been recording a lot of myself lately to be more articulate and to also allow myself to be heard and allow you to see these parts of my journey. And I'm inspired like a little bit by Kai Cenat lately. It takes a lot of courage to be able to have the platform you did for so long and to be that vulnerable with your fans, and undoubtedly being met with resistance in ways that your fans and the rest of the world don't see, let alone what everybody else sees. Like, it takes so much courage to do that. That is the most gangsta stuff that I've ever seen. Like, it takes a lot. So, you know, you're doing good on yourself. and that inspired me. So that's this is part of it. So I'm just gonna upload this, but I'm just gonna say a couple more things that I just wanted to say, that take a minute to say that. Now, the reason I brought this up is we use this mudra fairly often in Kundalini yoga, in Kriyas and stuff. I almost did the nonce bit again. Sorry, by the way, that's just how I joke. I always warn and talk in videos about how real I'm going to be. And this is me, so this is the teacher you're learning from. Hi. But anyway, we use this mudra. Sometimes we hold it out to our sides as we are up and we move our arms certain ways, or perhaps we're holding it for a certain meditation. I don't know every single name of every mudra off the top of my head, but this is also something you see in various shows, or you see in various gestures throughout the world. This is another reason why I feel that Kundalini yoga is so expansive of a teaching, and it can go very deep, because there's a lot of microcosms and parallels and synchronicities in the real world that you will experience as you move through Kundalini yoga and as Kundalini moves through you. So that being said, again, these fingers, this mudra, it feels powerful for me. It feels powerful for the solar plexus area. It feels powerful in my heart space. And it feels very directing with my voice. Like, notice I've been holding this mudra for quite some time while I've been talking to you, and it's really helping me focus, you know. And you might have seen things like this in mindfulness and other videos where they talk about mudras, like holding these hands and all of that stuff during talks or debates or negotiations help you. And yeah, that stuff is true. It's true, but like, this is just another example of it. Like, holding this helps me direct my energy in a very specific way while still being myself and still being a little weird, but hopefully this helps you again. So with all of that said, I might be like ADHD or something, but like, just bear with me, okay? I don't know. But what you're going to do is hold this hand position. I have my fingers, my ring finger and pinky finger, tucked inward. You don't have to keep these extended while you're trying to do this. The idea is to have your ring and pinky fingers of each hand tucked in, and I place my thumbs right on the knuckles of my ring fingers. And I extend my middle finger and index finger straight up and out. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but the idea is to hold it with intention in your mind and body. And if you feel it strain a little bit, again, don't hurt yourself. That's not the goal of any of what I'm teaching right now. That is not the goal of something I would want to teach you. I don't want to teach you how to hurt yourself or hold something. Side note, there are times where you are disciplined to, or challenged to discipline yourself a little more, and it might have some pain, but no one wants you to hurt yourself. Okay, so from here, you're going to take this, and with each hand, again, right under your jaw and just under your ear, you're just going to firmly, rhythmically rub downward. And you can rub around your clavicles, and you can come back up here and do the same thing under your neck, and you can do it with the other fingers, and just be with it. If you feel a particular part of your muscles that you feel is stuck, it's okay to spend a little extra time there. What I like to do is I like to move this a little bit closer to the heart area, because that's where our not necessarily automatic, but that's where our heart's pumping, and that's where it can have some movement, and that's where it can clear out or something like that, I forget exactly why I was taught that, but I'll come back to you on that. But I was told that it's good to move things around this heart area. I just can't remember off the top of my head. This is my introduction to like teaching and stuff. Like, this is like, me teaching you how I learn in the world and finding my best ways to articulate it. So I'm actually surprised that I've managed to do this in about 10 minutes. Seriously, me practicing behind like all these other videos like that I've been recording about myself, it's given me a chance to be a bit more direct and hone things down. Now, of course, you don't have to hold this for the whole day or for the whole, just for the session that you do this, and when you're done, you can bring your hands in just like this, hold them. You don't have to squeeze them hard, just hold them together, and then just release your hands. So, yeah, I just wanted to show you a little bit of something that, something that I'm working through and something that might help you. I don't know, but thank you. All right, see ya. I'm posing like this in case I don't make this part of the first video. So this is my obligatory apology tour about the cursing in my videos. Like, I meant it when I said this is a video for shadow work. Like, this is not method acting. This is not a joke. This is not, like, the spiritual stuff is not a joke. So I literally am just me as I am. And that's just, that's where I'm at right now. So I don't even know if I will make this video, either of these videos, if I make 2 or 1, unprivated. Like, this is part of my journey saying, you know what, if I really was going to back up my shit and fucking upload how I'm going through this shit, then I'll fucking do it. And this is me uploading and being like, oh shit, like, this is cocked. Like, so, because if I'm going to do it, like, if I'm going to avoid doing it that way, I'm not going to do it that way, by the way. I might as well figuratively do it by making my mark as a human being and all my weirdness, but also my flaws. It's not just quirks, it's true shadow work. So in my deep voice transness, but anyway, if the reason I said the effing nonce thing about the Kriyas is because in Kundalini Yoga, the darker side of it is that there are certain people who are elitists about it. I don't know anybody personally, by the way. I literally am serious on the isolation part. Like, I know my colleagues from the class that I had and that I graduated with, and that's pretty much it. I really do like to keep to myself, keep out of anybody's drama, because I'm just genuinely voicing my opinions on stuff. I just want to forward that. I feel like I have to say that because, sometimes people don't consider these things before they comment or view or make a dissertation on. But anyway, locking in, it's like, no. Ew, that was so cute of me. I used to be so hyper masculine, but anyway, yeah, this is no drama, but this is me saying there are elitists in the Kundalini Yoga space. Sometimes they believe you should do it this way, you should dress this way, you should do it this way. I'm not saying these are people who are the same as those who are disciplined in their spiritual practice. I'm saying there are elitists, and what I mean by that are people who believe you are not worthy of the practice if you don't do it a certain way. They are different than the people who are simply practicing for their own discipline. Are we understood? Thank you. So there is that. My colleagues in my class dealt with that. They dealt with being ostracized because they don't want to dress a certain way when they practice, or they don't know every single thing about Kundalini Yoga. But the thing about saying Kriyas versus Kriya. Now, this is, when you're learning Kundalini Yoga, along the way, you're going to learn what Kriyas are. Now, a Kriya is a sequence, a set of exercises or postures and body movements to bring about a certain effect within the nervous system and the consciousness when combined with meditation or sometimes just a Kriya alone. That is what a Kriya is. It is a sequence for an intended purpose within Kundalini Yoga. Now, Kriyas, I know my difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, we spent a whole year, like, not gaslighting each other into making sure we understood each other. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, Kriyas are however many Kriya are out there. You know what I'm saying? It's all of the Kriya encompassing. So when I said Kriya's plural, that's what it was. As you can tell, I'm like this, like, freaking heck is over-explaining. That's something I'm working on. I've had to do, a lot of over-explaining. That's like part of my journey, healing, over-explaining, just in any facet. But hopefully, this clears things up. You saw spicy sides of me. And I feel like I did my part here in clarifying. And you know what? Maybe I'll make it part of the same video. Yeah, maybe I'll make it the part of the same video. Because if you could stand me this long, then thank you for seeing me in one of my imperfect states that isn't always presented when people are teaching or talking about Kundalini yoga or spirituality, I presume. I've been doing this for some years. I'm just camera shy, and I just want to make sure I come off at least some sense of understandable to somebody out there. Maybe my next video will be about my gender transition. It's tied into my spiritual transition. And that's basically my whole life. So yeah, that'll be interesting to talk about, because I was already trying to record videos of that too when I was talking about practicing recording videos, practicing talking about myself, because my gender journey wasn't pretty the whole way through. A lot of it was tearing down a lot of masks and confronting a lot of things, and it wasn't always easy while you're trying to figure out and explain and discover and reinforce who you are. But yeah, learning stuff about myself every day.